welcome to Monday night's episode of the Blitz Pickup. We're gonna game recap this loss against New England yesterday, 38-10. Get the guys' initial reactions with a full game recap, of course, and then we're gonna spend pretty much majority of the night talking about McDaniel and the news that went on today. McDaniel had a presser and, kind of said he's not going anywhere. And he will be involved in the GM search. So I'm very intrigued to get the guys' feelings on that. So without anything else from me, Lou, Tony, come on up.
Jess, what's good?
What's up? What's up? What's happening, twin?
Oh, it got to be a special day, Jess, when Lou come on camera.
I know. I'm going to fix my camera. Just give me a moment.
Hey, Lou ain't wasting no time. He on camera. He got the glasses on. We got smart.
I got my Mike McDaniel glasses on. That's what I
got. He look like somebody ready to brag, boast, all kind of stuff. But I already know. It started earlier. So listen, y'all make sure y'all get in early. I believe there's a poll. The poll in the chat already. So y'all make sure y'all vote on that poll on the way in. And hold on, let me make sure I share this content out here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure. But yeah, hey Lou, what's the special occasion? You coming on camera? What's going on, man?
Hey man. So I can't come on camera?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer you on camera every time. You know what I'm saying? The audience, our listeners, subscribers, they want to see us on camera. They want to see how mad you get and the veins pop out of your forehead when you get angry.
Well, today's not a day of being angry, Tone. Today's a day of celebration. It's a day of
it's a celebration.
Well, for some of us it is. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, Tone, about a month and a half ago, they had their celebration. And today is just my celebration. So it is, it is what it is.
All right, there we go. I got everything set, prep. Hold on. Jesse, ready? Scott Jackson say we'll be paying for the mistake named Tua for years. Get him off Hard Rock property. Oh, I get
I somebody says Lewis has a face for radio, and that's cat.
God, dog.
First of all,
that's wild.
Again, listen, I'm gonna toot all night. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm here to toot all night. The fact of the matter is, show me another 45-year-old that looks like this. Show me another one. You know what I'm saying? Now, hey, Tone, today, I'm telling you, I'm straight shooting from the hip. Bang, bang.
Bang,
you know
bang.
Bang,
all
bang.
Right, bang, bang, Secret Street gang. All right, so I guess without further ado, since he's already hyped, I guess we should get straight into it then. Hold on, Lou, you got a text message, did you? You ain't, you know what I'm saying? I told these people it would be by the time we get on the next show. Because somebody was complaining about the hoodie they didn't have on the hoodie. That's why I say I'm glad you got on the hoodie. Remind people. Yeah. I said it's either gonna be at your crib or on the way. You got a text message, Lou?
Hey, Tone, I did get a text message today. At first, when I because I had to throw my glasses on to see, I had to make sure it wasn't AI. You know what I'm saying? But no, hey, listen, the sweater looks like it's on the way. I very, again, I'm appreciative of not only Tone but the family here at the Blitz Pickup, and I can't wait to see what it looks like. You know what I'm saying?
But you always talking about seeing the man Tone always got the exclusives and this and that. I want you to know you the only one got the gray hoodie. You the only one got the gray one. You understand?
I just want to know if when I put that on and I show up on camera, it's just gonna call me twin. That's all I want to know.
Well, you know what?
Oh, I can.
Because
I will when I see you in that hoodie.
For now, I think no one's gonna be able to call me twin because I couldn't let you get something without me just outdoing y'all for a minute. So let me go ahead and
So you didn't put one of the wait. So you didn't put one of those in my box? Is that what you're saying?
No. So let me tell you what happened. When I went back to go get it, because I had to go get it made. When I went back to go get it, he was like, "Hey, yo, hey, we got hats." I'm like, "What you mean you got hats?" He was like, "Yo, you make hats?" I said, "How long gonna take you to make it?" He was like, "Bro, give me an hour." I say, dog, you know what? Go ahead and run it. I'm gonna go run this to the UPS. Get back. Go ahead and run that hat for me. So you know what I'm saying? I would have had it in there, but you know I say it worked out perfectly. So I still control you and say I'm still one up with you right now, Arlo. You might the hoodie on the way, but you know the hat. You know I got to be the first one to test out the merch before we go ahead and put it out there to the street.
That's a fact.
Hey, Lou, I don't know if that's supposed to be a compliment or what. I just don't know, but you know.
Hey, man, I take compliments, man. It is what it is. Salute to my man, Scott Jackson, man.
This the Lou we need straight from the hip because our main man, Tony, been tripping lately. Bro, you want us to sign, what his name? Lamar so bad. Like, no. Ain't gonna happen. Three? No, we ain't give him three first rounders. 1987, what's up? Let's pick up. Excited for the show tonight. Oh, it's going down tonight, y'all. Mystic in the building, just laughing. And G says, smooth operator. All right, man. There's already 20 of y'all in the building. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If y'all haven't subscribed already, help us get to the 800 mark. I believe we're like one subscriber away from 760 or something like that. So we should be able to hit that mark late today, man. Y'all make sure y'all get us to well, let me see where we at. So we should be able to hit that mark. Oh, sure, my bad, y'all.
And make sure you vote on the poll. Everybody,
make sure y'all.
Everybody in the chat, vote on the poll.
Would you rather would you rather McDaniel get fired to against his fresh start? This should be the easiest answer. It's too close for comfort for me. Yeah, nah, y'all tripping in here. It is too close for comfort.
Yeah, they tripping for real.
God, dog. I mean, I know. Well, we'll see, man. Let's see how it pans out. But all right, man. Let's see. Just go ahead, man. I guess we're one away from 760. So y'all make sure y'all get it to 760, man, before the day over.
All right. What is that? What is that? Y'all
what happened, Jess?
I don't know. The little picture, that go under my picture, and why two are there? But anyway,
you don't know where that infamous scene is from?
Oh no, I know what that's from. I'm curious of why someone else is there, but you don't want to say goodbye.
Yeah, no. For real. Do you know what that scene is?
Do I want to say goodbye? No.
If you get what the scene, then you understand why Tua is there.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. All right, carry on. Before we get sidetracked again, because we got other things to talk about.
So you want to keep Tua? Hold on, I'm confused now.
Yeah. So we lost yesterday on the road, 38-10. Quinn Ewers, 16 for 23, 137 yards with one touchdown and one interception. Not his finest hour. What's your guys' reactions from yesterday?
Let me go first because I know he wanted to toot his little horns on the second topic. The initial reaction yesterday was, quite frankly, I think people, and I'm just going to speak on the fan base, what I've been listening. I think people over-exaggerating the game up yesterday. I heard a lot of people today basically complaining and saying that Quinn Ewers was making a lot of bad mistakes. I heard certain people saying he was 2 or 2.0. It seemed like they were saying that he was having a terrible game. I didn't see it. Now, maybe we weren't watching the same game, but for me, I saw 2, maybe a push, 3 bad throws. The interception to me was a bad throw. It was a bad decision. I understand Theo Weiss was right there. If y'all was here when I was live streaming, I'm like, God, what Theo Weiss was doing, but still, it was just not an accurate throw, right? You had Greg Dulcich right there in front of you, wide open, and it don't help that the very next drive, right, the very next play, after they got the interception, the very next play, the Patriots ran practically the same concept with bootlegging them, flood routes to the bootleg side, and 3-level read. And Drake May did what you supposed to have did, take the tight end for a check down and got positive yards, right? But I'm not going to kill him for doing that. He's young. third start, a 7-rounder. What we was expecting, right? And then the other one, which I don't think was a bad throw, but that linebacker was sitting there and he tried to fit it over him and he got up there. I don't know what his vertical was, but that linebacker got up there and he got his hand on it with almost an interception. Outside of those, I think he played pretty efficient. I'm gonna be honest with you. I still like the poise in the pocket. I still like him not being staring down the blitz. Instead, I like him staring down his receivers and not staring down the blitz and people that's that the defender that's coming towards him. That takes fortitude to do that. Because if you're not a tough guy, you're not going to be willing to stare down that blitzer and still deliver the football on time, right? Without any hitches. That was cool. Mike McDaniel, I would say, not his best game, but he didn't have a bad game as far as when it comes to play calling. It's always the situational, which, trust me, we're going to get into that a little later. Situational, and if I would rather him be a little bit more aggressive. These are the things I think, and I hope this develops when he get more trust in his quarterback. I think we have to take a look about it from that standpoint. Sometimes, like, you know what? He's coming off tour, leading the league before he left in interceptions, always having turnovers. So the fact that he doesn't be aggressive enough, I think he's thinking about the team at that point and not just the quarterback, which is something that we've been asking for. So, I mean, it's not a good look to get blowed out 38-10 last game. So this is the last impression that you're going to get. But that team that we lost 38-10 is the number 2 overall seed. And I think they tied with the best record in the NFL. They just lost the tiebreaker. So would you have liked for them to end the season with a better showing? Yes. I would like to point this out, though. You know, I was telling my co-host before he had to leave abruptly. You know, he had a family thing to, dinner to go through, so I get it. But I did remember, telling a certain individual that Mike McDaniel have yet to be a Mike Vrabel coach team. And someone said, well, he was 0-0 with Quinn Ewers. But now he 0-1, my brother. Now he 0-1. So, and I'm just saying that to say, let's not forget that's Mike Vrabel, one of the best defensive minds in football. So a young quarterback coming off on only his third start, I think we should temper our expectations. Now, for all the people that wanted to kill Quinn Ewers, and to me, that shows where your fandom is. You were more worried about proving yourself right or proving that Tua was not as bad as we thought than rooting for your team to be successful and Quinn Ewers to turn out to be a great quarterback because that's good for the team. I think that says a lot about the way people fan, right? But he's going up against Mike Vrabel. Go get me Tua numbers when Mike Vrabel was at Tennessee and at the Patriots this year. And you will see he doesn't do well against Mike Vrabel at all, right? So I wasn't expecting too much. So my reactions it was almost exactly how I expected. I believe, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. All three of us predicted a loss, didn't we? So we want. We didn't expect to get 38-10, but we just want to see growth in Quinn Ewers, and I thought we still seen growth in Quinn Ewers and something still after the performance. 4 minutes yesterday, I think Quinn Ewers still have earned the possibility to, the right to fight for the starting job. It shouldn't be given to him, but he should be be able to compete, and it need to be a quarterback competition going into next season. But yeah, all in all, man, game went almost how I expected it to go.
Yeah, for me, listen, Tone had a lot of good points. I would say defensively, it was ugly from the start. Like defensively, it looked like the team didn't even want to get off the bus. They looked like they kind of folded during the time that I was, up here with Tone and Jess calling the game yesterday. Tone, first 2 drives, I heard you say it yesterday. It kind of remembered or kind of went back to like the first 4 or 5 games of the season where we would call games and it was like they couldn't get a stop every time it was a score. That's what it felt like. As far as McDaniel, was it perfect? No. Could it have been better? Sure. Same thing with Quinn Ewers. To your point, it's his third start. It's against virtually the best team in the AFC or one of the best teams in the AFC. And they still had a lot to play for, actually trying to play for the #1 overall seed. All in all, bad showing, kind of what Tone was saying, kind of left a bad taste in your mouth. That's going to be the last time you actually see the Dolphins play football for about 7, almost 8 months. So yeah, was it a good feeling? No. But was it kind of expected? Yeah, I would say yes. Defense for me, again, was probably the worst part of the team yesterday. Turnover was bad, cool, I get it. But offensively, we're down a lot of players. You don't have Waddle, you don't have A-Chain. Austin Jackson, I believe, was a healthy scratch. I know someone said he might have been hurt. I don't know about believe that. Just, again, it was to be expected, right? Like, no one, like Tone said it, nobody up here picked the Dolphins to win. I'm sure I see 30 people listening right now. I doubt any of the 30 had the Dolphins to win that game neither. So, I'll be honest, like, talking about the game, we got to do it. This is our show. But I'm done. Like, I'm trying to get my toot on. Because the fact of the matter is,
toot on. It's crazy. Well, so let me just to add to your what you were saying. They had 12 possessions, right? They scored on 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't forget, we blocked 1 punt.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 was them netting the game out. So technically, that's 8 drives. So we technically only got to stop 4 times, right? And I didn't count the one at the end of the half, right? Which was essentially nothing. So technically, it was 3, 6 of them, 6 drops, 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns and a field goal. That no team could win that way. No team. So I think did you point out? I don't remember, but we had 23 rushes for 53 yards. 25 rushes for 53 yards. I think that's what it was. Let me go check real quick. That's what that was. 2 point something. Let me go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 25 rushes for 63 yards. 2.5 yards to carry. Jalen Wright, we tried to give you opportunity. You fumbled twice. You lost 1 of them.
Twice.
13 for 23. 1.8.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm.
Not good at all. Ollie Gordon had 9 rushes, 9 yards, 1 yard to carry. Hey, Devon A-Chan, we get it, bro. Your value has been recognized and we understand. So, But yeah, Wright did kill the momentum, but that's it. I mean, but it is what it is. Y'all ain't come here. Y'all came here to hear us talk about the breaking news. So, Jess, go ahead, man. Let's see what we got.
Okay. What changed? Oh, Lou turned off his camera. Uh-oh.
We switching up, y'all.
Okay. Anyway, so like I kind of mentioned, like briefly, McDaniel had a presser. He's not going anywhere. And he will be involved in our GM search. So I have to start with Lou on this because I'm very curious to hear what he's going to say. Lou, how do you feel about this?
About what? Can you say the question one more time, Jess?
That McDaniel had a presser and that he said he's not going anywhere and he will be involved in our new GM search. Do you like that? Do you like that that he came out and said that?
Hold on real quick. I got to get up for this. Hold on. Give me 1 minute. Toot. What did I tell y'all, man? You think I got my Mike McDaniel glasses on for no reason? Hold on. Jess, do you see me? Tone, do you see me?
You got your Mike glasses on.
Now I told y'all. Y'all preaching change, right? Change is coming. Now, for the past 2 days, they've been saying and telling everybody, ain't no change coming. There was no change. We scapegoated yet again another man. Everybody hated when we scapegoated Brian Flores. Well, some of us. We scapegoated Chris Greer. Did Chris Greer hold fault? Did he hold blame? Sure, absolutely he did. The fact of the matter is, was he scapegoated? The answer is yes. Mike McDaniel being here, I believe, is the right decision. Y'all know me. I've argued with my co-host Tone. I think I've argued with Jess this point. If
Yep.
the angle is Mike McDaniel should be gone solely because of his decision for Tua Tagovailoa, hey, y'all got the argument. Y'all got the argument. But has he been perfect? No, by no stretch of the imagination. Has he been better than I think, for me, as advertised, right? We knew he was coming in here to be virtually the head coach, but an offensive coordinator. First 2 years, playoff appearances, and this is with first-time head coach. What do we always say? The man never even called a game before.
Mm-hmm.
He took over an entire team. He was forced. We all know the story, right? Now, he vouched for Tua after. But to get the job, he virtually had to go fix a quarterback that, I don't know, but a lot of us really didn't believe in the first 3 years of his season, of his career. Mike McDaniel, he fixed them for the most part. He got the most out of Tua Tagovailoa. I'll ask the question before I even continue because I want to hear y'all's thoughts. Do you think any other coach could come in here and do what Mike McDaniel did with Tua Tagovailoa?
Sean McVay.
Okay, one. Cool.
But not many. Not many. He did a hell of a job with Tua. No one thought it was possible.
Thank you. All I'm saying is, do the Dolphins and Tone, we've talked about this, right? Because we're going to keep going in the show and there's going to be more things. I'm just going to stick from the Mike McDaniel standpoint. And Tone, I think you can even agree with this. The fact of the matter is, if today John Harbaugh is fired from Baltimore, okay, cool, I'm willing to listen. If Mike Tomlin is like, oh, hey, dog, you ain't got no argument, I'm cool. If let's say the Rams, for instance, didn't make the playoffs, Tone, and you're telling me Sean McVay is getting fired. Okay, I'm listening. But you mean to tell me I'm supposed to go fire Mike McDaniel for Chris Shula? You mean to tell me I'm supposed to go fire Mike McDaniel for one of these bums that nobody knows?
Mm.
I'm sorry, bro. I'm going to keep Mike McDaniel. For me, again, at least, and I know me and Tone probably going to go back and forth on this. All I'm saying is, for me, I think Mike McDaniel has done more good than bad. Has he been bad? Sure. Does there need to be improvement? Absolutely. Nobody is perfect. I think from the first time we fired up this show to tonight's episode, I think we've gotten better.
Yeah.
Right? I know I've gotten better from the first episode to now. I'm sure Tone has done it. Just we all do it. I think Mike McDaniel.
Our status got better. Yeah.
Everything again, thumbnails, right? The things we're doing now, this calling the game, the scoreboard and stuff. It's getting better, but it took time. It wasn't instantaneous. It wasn't day one, hit the ground off and running. And I know, people are going to say, well, this is Mike McDaniel's first 4 years. Again, cool. But remember, he's a first-time head coach. His first 2 years, he did something that no other Dolphin coach in the past, 15, 20 years has done? 2 back-to-back winning seasons, 2 back-to-back playoff appearances. All I'm saying is just for this portion of the episode, I'm glad Mike McDaniel is getting another shot to return in 2026. I'm not saying beyond that, but I do think in this scenario, the Dolphins didn't make the right decision in bringing Mike McDaniel back. I think the second question, Jess, was, should he have say in the general manager? Now,
Yes.
this is where I got to be fair. I don't think he should have any say in the general manager. I don't believe that. I do believe, and we've talked about this as well, if you were going to hire a new general manager, I think that general manager should be able to fire or keep Mike McDaniel. I don't think the organization should be looking outside of the organization to bring someone in, but kind of like, and I'll use this for Mike McDaniel. Remember when Mike McDaniel got hired, he was forced to work with Tua, right? That's why, Tone, I believe when Chris Greer came out and said there was other candidates I was ready to move forward with, this, that, and the third, I think those candidates maybe wanted to move off of Tua. I think the only one that was willing to work with Tua was Mike McDaniel. I think that's why he got the job. I think the Dolphins, from this standpoint, if you're already telling people Mike McDaniel is staying, obviously we know he's staying, right? You listen to him today when he talked, he virtually let everybody know. I think the Dolphins are doing that in opposite, right? yeah, you're going to get a general manager to come in here if you hire somebody, right? But you're virtually handcuffing that person to Mike McDaniel because, for me, at least, just my opinion, I think the general manager is getting forced to work with Mike McDaniel. If that's the case, maybe the new guy wants to work with him. Again, that's what I said earlier. That could be true, but it just feels like, to y'all's point, I'll give this to y'all, that it does feel like they're being forced to work with Mike McDaniel. I just don't believe that's the right way. I believe if you are going to start this thing over or try to rebuild from the top up, from the organization down, I do believe who you bring in should be able to say whether he wants to work with this coach or he doesn't. And it just feels like the Dolphins are kind of handcuffing themselves or the new general manager to Mike McDaniel. Again, with that being said, though, I'm glad personally Mike McDaniel's coming back, but I got to be fair to the question and to the situation. No, I don't think the Dolphins are handling it the correct way, if I'm going to be honest. So,
hey, I'm not gonna lie, Jess. I see why he put on the glasses, because he was smart. I gave it away earlier, so he I know he changed it because I know he thought he had me, right? He was like, I'm finna get Tone. The way you did that and skated out. Hey, he was in there talking like I was wrong, but I get it. So you brought up a couple points, and I want to remind people, because when people try to, on the space, you try to say, I told y'all that. I want to remind you, I told y'all that was gonna happen too. You know what I'm saying? Now I told you I don't think he should be back, but I remember, I was writing down my notes. I was trying to go back. I remember telling y'all remember at the end of that when they fired Chris Greer. And I came on here and I said, listen, I'm just going to be real with y'all. We're in a lose-lose situation. No matter which road we take, it's going to be bad. And I told y'all which one I prefer, which will be this one, which will be, now I remember asking questions. Should they make a decision on Mike McDaniel before the GM, or should they keep it behind closed doors? I remember I have a couple of people that questioned. And they didn't understand. And I was like, well, basically, because of the ramifications, should they make a decision on Mike McDaniel to first? Guess what? It seems like they doing what I thought they was going to do, which is make a decision on Mike McDaniel to first. So what was the two scenarios? The first scenario was get rid of everyone, right? Bring in a GM, but that GM is going to be messed up no matter which way, because now you're bringing them in with already in cap hell because of the tour contract, right? Already in cap hell. Now we have to deal with that for 1 year, not being able to bring in a player that he wants, not be able to attack free agent like he would, not be able to sign people because he's in cap hell. And I said that would be unfair for the new GM. And the second option that I said was keep Mike McDaniel, keep Tua, let Champ Kelly ride out for another season, bring in your GM, but don't put him up in the front fold. You get what I'm saying? But understand who you want. And I said, I think that is the best course of action. Why? Because Tua, that is Mike McDaniel's mess. He needs to clean this up. Do not get rid of him and let the new coach, because what you're doing now, you're forcing to a mess on the new coach and on the GM. So just imagine getting rid of Mike McDaniel and keeping Tua. It makes literally no sense, because the new regime was going to come here and deal with a messed up situation, hands down. I literally broke everybody. I was like, bro, these are only two options that we have. Think about it. And which one would I prefer? I would prefer move off of everyone in 2027. Right? And I said, and whatever you do with Tua, let Mike McDaniel deal with that. If you want to bench him and have $57 million on the bench, so what? So be it. If you want to get rid of him and deal with $99.8 million cap and you can't sign nobody, so what? So be it. Because Mike McDaniel, you vouch for him. And you need to deal with this, right? Now, from the get-go, I was letting people know that they love McDaniel. So I do not get it construed for what I think should have happened and what I think was going to happen. Now, Lou didn't take the bait. I thought he was going to talk about my post that I put on X. You know what I'm saying? He was
we getting into that later. We getting into that later. I got.
Oh well. Okay, well, I'm just trying to let you get. I'm going to say, my brother, because that was so eloquently put. You understand? Eloquently put when you came out with your little glasses on and looking all nerdy and smart and intelligent. I said, who is this guy? Is it Mike McDaniel or who? I should have put you right there on the thumbnail. But just so you don't walk into the trap, Lou. I think you left a little earlier, so I did have a rant after the game, and I was saying, Monday, I need Stephen Ross to come out and let us know the decision that is going to be made with Mike McDaniel. I say, whether you going forward with him or you getting rid of him. Because if you going forward with him, that's dead ass wrong for the GM. Dead wrong. Because now, you know, the GM, what if the GM don't want him? What if that GM don't want Tua? He's not coming here to to interview. He's not going to consider this job. No. And you're going to limit your options to the type of GMs that's going to be interested in this job. And guess what? And I said, or you come out and you say you're getting rid of him. But I need to know tomorrow because the GM search needs to start immediately. So that was what the tweet was about. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't about he needs to fire Mike McDaniel, which I know you assume I was talking about because I heard you talking in the space earlier. No, it wasn't about that they need to fire him. Do I believe that he should have been fired? Yes. I would never change on that stance. That stance because we're in this mess because of your decision making. We are. But I also said, based on the seasons that he had, 4 years of Mike McDaniel, 2 good seasons, which is winning records, 2 playoff appearances, and then you have 2 bad seasons, which is both regressions at the end. If you want to give him the 5th year and say, you know what, this is a whole mess, you put us in here, okay, cool, that's your last opportunity, prove us wrong, you got to work some miraculous miracle to even keep your job, but you're going to stay to fix this, I was cool with that too. I was all cool with that.
But and this is where, to be fair to you, Tone, right? Because I'm with you. Listen, if you're going to bring in a new general manager, like I said, it's only right to let that new general manager bring in his own guys, whoever that is, from the quarterback position, from the head coach, from whoever. The only thing I would say, though, is, right, and again, I'm going to pose the question to you. If you feel like that about Mike McDaniel, and the reasons why is because you said, and again, these are your words, Mike McDaniel, we're here because of you. We're in this situation because of you. Well, then shouldn't you have that same stance for Brandon Shore and Tom Garfinkel as well? Because I could argue.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I could argue though, Tone, that we're in this position because of those 2 gentlemen as well.
You can, and that's what I think. I was waiting. This is where the GM situation, and I think I was looking forward to argue with you. I swear to God, I thought you were gonna bring up that tweet and like, told what they're talking about fighting him and all that, but you skated off. But this is where I believe our biggest difference is going to come in, and I was prepared for it. So, because I knew you was going to bring up Brendan Shore and Tom Garfinkel. I just happened to get a little bit of glimpse of Joe Rose. And he was saying, yeah, I heard that Brendan Shore said he was warning them not to sign all these contracts. But did you drop your, basically he wanted to say the PC phrase, but he basically asked, well, he said, did you drop yours on the table? Basically what I did, you let your nuts hang? And did you put your feet down? And I'm like, Tom Garfinkel, yes. You make decisions. If you had anything to do with the signing of Tua, you're part of the problem. Now, Lou, this is what me and you had the biggest. I'm talking about one of the biggest back and forth and disagreements. When I came out and said, if Brandon Shore, correct me if I'm wrong, my brother, because you know we're going down memory lane. If Brandon Shore already have the cap set, Tua is already, his money is already allocated for the 5th-year option, and then Mike McDaniel or Chris Greer or whoever come to him and say, listen, how can we get this extension together? You, my brother, was like, that's not his place. You're all I need you to do is punch them numbers. That was your word. I don't need you to ask me nothing. I don't need you to figure out why. All I need you to do, when I bring you the numbers that you're speaking of Chris Greer, you make them work. So if you have that stance on Brandon Shore, he did his job. He did his job. Because that, not his place. It's not. But we're seeing, that he have more power that he should, which I, and I say, I'm like, listen, I deal with money a lot. I deal with budgets, and I have to talk to, which is essentially my bosses. They're the owner. That's their company. When they saying stuff that don't make no sense, bro, we go at it sometime.
Yeah.
I'm like, you telling me this, you put me in this position, I'm telling you this not good, you letting this customer get up. Bro, we got customers that owed us. Bro, how do you get a customer that owed you $1.some million in debt? How do it get that high?
That's a fact.
And you still want to get this man some more merchandise? It makes no sense. But this is the type of stuff that I say when I got to go in there and punch these numbers. Now I got to negotiate to see what kind of deal we got to get with these so we can make a profit off of here. You know what I'm saying? I got to do extra work because I got to get a cheaper price just to make a profit over somebody that owed us money. But I know at the end of the day, I'm still going to have to do it because they are the bosses.
They're the bosses.
Owners,
right.
So that's why, no, I don't think Brandon Shore is part of the reasons why we in this, because it was already said. Now people are trying to backpedal and say, well, he didn't, he didn't put his foot down. He didn't put enough emphasis on it. But then you're going to say he's insubordinate. Then we're going to say he's problem. Listen, you're right. Voice your opinion and your displeasures or your disagreements. We'll take that in consideration. But at the end of the day, I need you to make these numbers work. Is that not what we think his job should be?
Well, again, but that's what his job is. See, what I was debating was whether or not Brandon Shore should be able to say, I want to sign this player or not. That's what my debate was, Tone. Right? When Chris Greer and Brandon Shore, whatever, right? Whoever the general manager is, if the Dolphins are getting ready to sign whatever player, Brandon Shore comes with numbers and says, listen, I'm looking at the cap for not only this year, but next year and moving forward, this, that, and the third. I believe this is the money that should be allotted for said player, right?
Facts.
That's where the story ends for me, though, Tone. Things that I had heard, though, was Brandon Shore, and again, remember the report came out, Tone, that Brandon Shore did not want to sign Tua. Not that Brandon Shore told Chris Greer, hey, this is the money that we have for Tua. This is all we have for Tua, right? If that's what he did, I ain't got no argument. I still to this day do believe, though, that Brandon Shore should not be in a football room having football conversations of what players to sign. Again, that's not his job. Your job is to tell me, I want to sign this player. Go figure out how much money I can give them. If it's $35 million, if it's $45 million, if it's $55 million. You give me those numbers, right? And now I got to go and figure if that client or player or whatever will take the money that we can afford to give him. But that doesn't give you the right as the copologist to say, oh, I want this guy and I don't want this. I don't believe that's the case. You see what I'm saying? I think there's a difference there, Tone. I think that's where me and you had our disagreement. I'm with you until the fact of Brandon Shore, and I don't care if it's Chris Greer, this new general manager, hell, Tone, it could be you. If you were the general manager, Tone, would you like Brandon Shore being able to tell you, oh, I don't want this player? Or,
no.
But that's what I was talking about, Tone. That's what, by all reports, remember that the day after it came out and said Brandon Shore did not want to sign Tua. Well, he doesn't have that right.
Yeah. So
you don't have that right to say whether you want to sign him. Your right is to make the money work. That's what your right is.
I mean, if you go, we still disagree. I'm gonna explain why, but we still disagree on that. If you go based off the logic, then you can't say what you said before that I would say Brendan Shure is part of the reason why we're in this situation either. Because no, it's not his decision to make. That was Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer.
Okay, cool. Well, now, but we also know that Mike McDaniel went over Chris Greer because again,
Yes.
without putting on for the show, as much as we can say Brandon Shore did not want to sign Tua, we can also say that Chris Greer did not want to sign Tua.
Yes, allegedly, yeah.
Well, again, you see how when we get into that gray area, because when I mentioned Chris Greer, you said allegedly,
Because it never came out like it came out. It was specifically said. Well, I believe let me preface this by saying this.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he didn't want to sign him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna say it didn't, but that one is alleged. Because, well, everything is technically alleged, but we have someone coming out and saying specifically Brendan Shure was giving the most pushback. It was just assumed.
And who was that again?
The dude that be on there with Adam Poupart.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
he came out and said that, and then the other dude, Dave Hyde too. So both of them said it, that it was Chris Greer specifically. I mean, Brandon Shure specifically giving a pushback, and then Dave Hyde doubled down. Last week, and said, well, not only Tua, but majority of them contracts, Brandon Shure was the one warning them about it, which is what prompted Joe Rose to come out to this morning and say, yeah, I get you was the one that was warning them about signing a contract, but did you do it with more emphasis or did you put your foot down? So he was alleging that Brendan Shure should have had a bigger voice into not doing that. That's opposite of what your mindset is.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think there's different roles for everybody.
I do too. Now, I'll tell you, remember, the biggest thing was, and I know you disagree with it, but we just don't, we agree to disagree, is Tua was already under contract. He didn't want to extend him. Tua was on the 5th-year option, and they tried to come and give it a stint. He was like, nah, let him pen the official option. We'll figure this out next season. And they was like, nah, which is, I'll give it to you. That is the gray area, because at what point, my boy, okay, you said you don't want to do it. Cool. I'm going forward, so we're going to do it anyway, which initially it got done, right? But I was just from the standpoint of saying, I like that mindset. And of course, it's my own bias because I was under the same mindset that we should let Tua play on a 5th-year option. And now that we got 2020 hindsight, Brendan Shure, at least in this situation, was correct. The best course of action moving forward was to let him play in the 5th-year option, whether you feel like that was his place or not.
Absolutely. And I'm with you. That's from the Tua side. So let me ask you this. Who are we putting for giving an extra money and extension to Jalen Ramsey when he, to your point, like Tua was under contract, right? Well, Jalen Ramsey was under contract. Mm-hmm. So who gave Jalen Ramsey that extra money when he set up?
And apparently, remember, that's when Dave Hyde said he was warning them about all of those extensions. He just said it last week.
So he was warning them for all of them.
Now, he didn't say specific names. He said all of those extensions. Brendan Shure was the one warning them about all of those extensions. That's what Dave Hyde said on the Joe Rose show.
Man, that gets a little gray area, though. See,
right? Because we don't know who we was talking about, and I'll give you that credit. But at some point, to me, and once I heard Brendan Shure was one of the ones, the biggest advocate of not paying Tua.
To be honest.
Huh?
No, you good, Tom?
Okay. But yeah, so once I heard that he was one of the biggest advocates of not paying Tua, I was like, yeah, I like this guy. I like the way he's thinking. I think he's putting the team first rather than worry about people's feelings and them wanting to get paid. Now, whether they're gonna give us the exact names and who he went to bat for or against, that's a different story. We just know, from what I know, he warned them about all of the extensions or majority of them.
Well, to Joe Rose's point, you said you listened to Joe Rose earlier,
Mhm.
and again, Joe Rose, from what it sounds like, is making the point of Brandon Shore not putting his foot down. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now we held that same standard for Chris Greer. We said
Yes.
multiple times, Chris Greer, it's your job to put your foot down. So if Brandon Shore does have, let's say, this amount of power within this organization, are we holding him to the same standard? Are
Well,
we not saying that you got to put your foot down too? Because
well,
again, if you're warning everybody about these contracts, Tone, but
yeah.
nothing is being done, again, I got to hold your feet to the fire too.
No, which is rightfully so. You have the right to do that because, like now, when more information is brought to you, if they saying that Troy Aikman is supposed to be bringing the recommendations to Brandon Shore, and then Brandon Shore, along with Tom Garfinkel and Dan Marino, and now Mike McDaniels and the son-in-law and everyone, Spielman or whoever, but the name that they said was basically spearheading it is Brandon Shore. Well, if you have that type of cachet, then yeah, I feel like you should put your foot down, which is will go to my argument for him. We're like, yeah, I think he should have stood on his square and say no, don't pay him. And I think this is why I'll give it to you. This is why I felt like if it went, so we don't know how it went, but if it took Mike McDaniels to go to Stephen Ross, would that where your limitations stop, bro? That you can argue with Brian, not Brian for Chris Greer. You already even Tom Garfinkel. But when it go to Stephen Ross, all right, Brandon Shore, now you have met your match. Because when Chris Greer wanted to move forward with candidates as far as the coaching search, guess what? Who they went to, it seemed like it was a bunch of disagreements, and this is all speculation, right? It was a bunch of different agreements, but what we do know is it had to get to Ross, and Ross tell him to pump the brakes. So what that's telling me is when that collective start have disagreements, they take it to Ross, and Ross was like, well, this is what we're doing. You get me? So at that point, it depends on whose side he take. And it seemed like he was taking Tom Garfinkel and Mike McDaniel's side more than Brandon Shore and possibly Chris Greer. You get what I'm saying? But I mean, that's on that. But because it's already 47 minutes. I do want to get into, because I didn't get my spill on his GM. This is, I know Lou and me, you might agree a lot on this one. So we was breaking this down, and I was trying to just get, the people mindset, the people that think this is good. The Troy Aikman thing. Let's start with the Troy Aikman thing. I ain't see Kelvin in the chat. But Kelvin was one of the biggest advocates that this the right thing. Vonjo was too, but now Vonjo backed off his initial, thought process because he realized Mike McDaniel didn't make a decision too, so he don't see the change. And I know you saying you don't see the change. I see the change. Not only do I see the change, I see the type of change in which, well, me and you probably gonna disagree with this, that is beneficial for the Miami Dolphins. Now, is it the right thing to do? No. But beneficial? Yes. But before I give that, what did we need? Jess, Lou, somebody, what did we need? Did y'all see the name that they were doing? Forget the name. Did y'all see the franchises where the guys that we would requested interviews from?
Yeah, it was the Eagles, Rams, 49ers.
3 49ers, 1 Eagles, 1 Ram.
Yep.
Now, we've been up here. And when anytime someone asks us suggestions for GMs, I believe I can speak for all three of us. We would say, well, we don't know the candidates like that to give names, but we would like someone from Kansas City front office, the 49ers front office, the Eagles front office, the Rams, the teams and franchises that know how to build winning franchises. So why you ain't paying me a dime? I've been telling you that over here. Not a red cent. Why are we paying Troy Aikman to do this? What we all said they should do in the first place. Yeah, I remember asking a certain individual this earlier, and they got up out the space. Because all that huffing and puffing and agreeing that Aikman was going to be a difference maker. How? Where? I don't see it. Now, every last one of those, I think, except for the guy in Philly, has some type of connection with Mike McDaniel. Every last one of them GMs. So now, what did that tell me? You're bringing your GM in based on if he's willing to work with Mike McDaniel. This why you said the GM isn't, he's not going to have no bearing on whether Mike McDaniel comes to go. So you forcing, now I'm not going to say forcing because it's not forcing. I think this is, someone was saying it earlier. They're not forcing it. They're basing their decision on who's willing to work with the guy that they have in building.
1,000%.
The same reason why they told Christopher Greer to hold your horses, because you remember I told you, Lou, I said, you want to know why they had such a big disagreement? Because I'm willing to bet you that the 2 or 3 candidates that Chris Greer was wanting to move forward with was not on board with Tua.
They didn't want Tua, absolutely.
And they said, well, pump your brakes. So did Chris Greer really pick his coach? Was he really the GM in that situation?
No.
No. So now let's go on the search. Do anyone have any say-so who's really coming in this building? Outside of Stephen Ross, Tom Garfinkel, and now Brendan Shore, the collective, that their sole purpose is to get someone to come in that's willing to work with Mike McDaniel. I'm sorry. Do we need Troy Aikman for that?
No.
What we paying him for? Now, the good side. I'll say the good side, which I don't like it. What did we say? Now, Lou, I'm one of the ones that said I don't think Mike McDaniel should be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been objective and say, well, if they stay with him, I'm not mad at him, because I do understand if he have a better quarterback, we're not talking about getting rid of Mike McDaniel. We aren't. So let me give you the positive and then I'll give you the negative, but I'm going to let you rebuttal first because I know I've been talking for a minute. The positive is the guy that comes in, he's working directly with Mike McDaniel. And ain't going to be no back and forth like him and Greer, no disagreements. They're going to be lockstep. And I believe if they pick the right person, like say Mike McDaniel bring in the right quarterback, he has the GM that's already on his side. They have the same vision. Everyone focused on the same task at hand. You want that with a GM and a head coach. Not mad at it. If we think, and I think we all assume, they think Mike McDaniel is their guy. I told you back then with the Tua situation, I got word that the reason that they're giving so much pushback on Tua, because I don't know, all of a sudden people think that Stephen Ross loves Tua and he wanted to pay Tua. He don't want to get rid of Tua. It's never been that. From the time that the contract came, it took so long because they weren't willing to pay him. If Stephen Ross was willing to pay Tua, then why would Mike McDaniel have to go up there and convince him to give him that contract? Put 2 and 2 together, people. Like Lou tell you, connect the dots. So he don't want him, but he's willing. Right before, and I'm gonna let you rebuttal here. Last but not least, so when the question was asked, and when they said that Mike McDaniel was, Stephen Ross, the reason they want to keep Mike McDaniel because they want to see how he looked with a new GM and quarterback. This is what was asked in the media today in his press conference. So what's that telling you, Lou? Maybe they thinking like how we assume if Mike McDaniel had a better quarterback, this team is in a better place.
Absolutely.
So I think this is why they're going the route that they are, because they were like, well, we need a GM that's going to work directly with Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel get his guys in. We're not going to blame Tua on you. You get what I'm saying? We seen what wonders you did with Tua. So now you a guy that have all the tools, and then you move forward with taking over this franchise. And that, to me, Lou, is the type of power that we wanted from people with cachet. But I think they're going to give that to Mike McDaniel. He just don't have the cachet to do it, because we want that type of power from Mike Tomlin. We would like that type of power if we brought in somebody like Andy Reid, or if John Harbaugh was to get fired and come in here. We want them to give them the reins and let them do what they do and get out the way. I think they're doing that, but for Mike McDaniel, and I don't know if it's going to work out, because I don't know if Mike McDaniel's proven himself to be able to handle all that and give him full trust in his decision making. But I think that's what they're doing, to me.
I mean, yeah. Listen, I agree with a lot of that, Tone. The question still remains to me, or at least for me, is because I'm with you. It seems like Mike McDaniel is going to have a lot more say, right? That's what it feels like from an outside perspective. The question I would have, though, is because, again, whether we agree with who they're giving it to, because I'm with you, Mike McDaniel doesn't have the cachet.
Nope.
The question I would have is, are they giving the full reins to Mike McDaniel and this new general manager, to your point, that's going to be like lockstep, arm in arm? There shouldn't be no arguments or disagreement, because it feels like Mike McDaniel is getting ready to pick his general manager. That's what it feels like.
Yes.
Okay, so from that standpoint, I'm with you.
Yep.
The question I have, and it's the question that's posed right under Jess and right on the side of Mike McDaniel: what changed? Because you know, for me, Tone, I've been talking about Brandon Shore, I've been talking about Tom Garfinkel for a while now. Are they going to give up their power and let, whether we agree with it or not, Mike McDaniel, at least he's a football guy. Whether you like him or not, he's a football guy.
For sure.
This is what we've wanted. We want football guys making decisions. So if Mike McDaniel is the one that is going to be working hand in hand with the general manager, and them two individuals are making decisions, again, I'm good with that. I don't know how you guys would feel. But if Mike McDaniel is, again, getting his general manager, this, that, and the third, but on the side, we still have this collective to where Tom Garfinkel can still have input and make decisions, and the Brandon Shore, that's where, for me, again, my debate is, it'll still stand. What is changing? Because we can argue, Tone, for the last 2 years, we've been arguing. It's the offensive line. It's weapons. It's the quarterback. For me, it's certain people that are making decisions that have no business making decisions, right? And if that doesn't change, bro, you can bring in whatever general manager you want. You can bring in whatever head coach you want. Bring in whatever player you want. At the end of the day, I think our biggest, or one of our biggest issues, because obviously quarterback is one, right? I do think, to your point earlier, we had a better quarterback, I don't think we would be having a lot of these conversations. But that's just not the card we were dealt. I do think Brandon Shore and Tom Garfinkel having so much power within this organization, I do think that is a major flaw. So I'm asking you, Tone, do you think it's a Mike McDaniel and whoever this new general manager, do you think it's their team, or do you think it's their team plus the input of Brandon Shore, Tom Garfinkel? And if so, if that's the scenario, do you think a dynamic like that with Garfinkel and Brandon Shore, and hell, that Stephen Ross's son-in-law, Stillman, I think has some say in it too. Do you think that can work?
Before I do that, it's 53 of y'all in the building. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If it's y'all first time over here, hit the subscribe. Get us to 800. Listen, this is where you get the 100% straight drop, no sugarcoating over here. We give y'all our 100% truth, and that's it. But so make sure y'all hit the like button, man, and vote on that poll if it's still open. But listen, Lou, do I think, first of all, let me ask you a question. What changed? The change is, you remember earlier I said, when we were having a debate about Greer, not earlier today, but in prior episodes, and I say, Lou, you know what question I started to ask myself? When did they stop trusting in Greer? When did they start questioning his decision making? When did they start having disagreements? And then now, let's fast forward to this situation. You know how it was back and forth, disagreements, and Stephen Ross and Tom Garfinkel getting putting their little 2 cents in. Who was they deferring to, Lou? Who decision was ultimately the decision that they went with? It was Mike McDaniel, right?
Yeah, that's a fact.
So now what changed is they have the guy that they defer to all the time. It's no longer, oh, Chris Greer and we have disagreements. Remember, Chris Greer came out and said, I defer more than I would like to. Well, who are you deferring to? And who did he have that chip on the shoulder to? Who did they start not doing interviews together anymore? Mike McDaniel. So the input that was put in was all Mike McDaniel's decisions. Remember Calais Campbell? Remember that? Jumped over his head. No, I think we can win. Signed it to him. Jumped over his head. No, I think we still can win. So I think what changed is their decisions making are all aligned now. They're going to have exactly what they wanted. Now, guess what? Now you have to make all the right decisions because you don't have no more excuses. There's no more insubordinates in the building. No more insubordinates because now every time you had a disagreement, y'all went right along with Mike McDaniel. Now, when he messed this up, guess what? It's going to prove all y'all wrong again, that instead of getting the people that deferred and that questioned y'all decision-making, y'all decided to go with the yes man. Mike McDaniel was the yes man. That new GM is going to be their yes man. So, moving forward, they're going to, the quote-unquote football guys are going to be making all the decisions now. Because there aren't going to be any more people in the building that oppose what those guys, the decision-making that they were trying to make, or the decision they were trying to make. I think that's the difference. Now, whether it's going to work or is it going to be good, because you asked me, do you think it could work? I don't know. But if we have to ask, if we want our franchise ran a certain way, we do want it ran to where let Mike McDaniel and the GM make all the decisions. Get y'all yes men in the building. At least the football guys are going to be making all the decisions. Y'all just better pick the right yes men and the right football guys. Because there's no excuses now.
So moving forward then, so this is all are going to be on McDaniel and the new general manager, whoever that is, or if Champ Kelly ultimately stay. Who knows, right? But that's what we're gonna run with, right, Tony? It's on McDaniel and the new general manager, correct?
Yeah, because y'all are the collective. They are the collective. The one that was giving pushback, I think the only one that we could say possibly is Brendan Shure. But he's spearheading the GM now. So that's probably why they put him in a position like you were the only one that was, have so much pushback against our decision making. So you spearhead, give me the best candidate that you like. So when he make his decision, you trust his decision making, and then we can let these guys run because Stephen Ross, they want to be absentee owners and presidents. Stephen Ross, all he want to do is collect that money. Tom Garfinkel, all he want to do is advertise. That's all he want to do. He don't want to be down there making football decisions. He wants to say, okay, you got that guy. Let's see how much money he can make us. That's the only change. Now, whether it's a good or bad change, that is yet to be had. I don't trust it. I'm gonna be 100%. I don't trust it. I don't. But do I hope it work out? Yes. Because at the end of the day, you have to. I don't care what you do. Any profession you do, you're not going to get along with everyone. You aren't.
Do you think a move like this, Tone, especially if they bring in one of these guys, and Jess for that matter, do you guys think that with the names Tone kind of illustrated earlier, you got 3 guys coming from San Francisco, the guy from Philly, the guy from the Rams. Let's say for the sake of this conversation or the question I'm about to ask, it's one of the guys from San Francisco. Do you guys think this is a move if you bring in a general manager? Again, this is where I agree with Tone earlier in the aspect of virtually McDaniel and this new guy is going to be lockstep, like arm in arm, right? Do you guys think this is just a move, or do you make a move like that just for 26? Because remember, I think it was last year or before the start of last season, Mike McDaniel he already had, I think, 1 or 2 years left, and they gave him a 3-year deal or extension on top of that. do you think a move like this, Tone and Jess, are just for 26? Or do you think this is a move to where they say, we're bringing in a new general manager to work with Mike and we're giving you more than just 26? What do you guys think on that?
I believe what should happen, it should only be for 26 because we're in cap hell, and give them the opportunity to see if they could what they could do with that. You get what I'm saying? Because evaluate them year by year. Now, ideally, you would like for this to work out, and then we move forward because they've proven themselves that we have the guys that we want in the building. Honestly, I don't trust it. I hope, like, let's get 100. I hope it works, and I hope this is for the long haul, because we don't want to deal with this back and forth every goddamn year.
Right. I'm with you. So, well, let me ask you guys this then. What does a successful season, Katone, you said being in cap hell, we all know what's ahead of us, right? We're in cap hell. We only have, I think, 37 or 39 current players on the roster. We gotta fill this roster out. What does a successful season look like for a new general manager, Mike McDaniel, dealing with what they're going to have to deal with from a cap standpoint? Because, Tone, you brought up the ramifications with the cap. What does a successful look like for Mike McDaniel in this? Well, let me just say Mike McDaniel, because I don't think they would hire a general manager and he would be one and done. So from a Mike McDaniel standpoint, Tone, Jess, what does a successful 2026 season look like for Mike McDaniel to get possibly to 27 or 28 or whatever? What does that look like for you guys?
For me, hey, listen, 59 of y'all in the building. Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that like button too. Oh, now I'm 61. And make sure y'all subscribe, man. Grow to help the channel grow. If you like what you're listening to, put the notification bell on so you can be over here. We go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:00. And when the season come back around, we will do the live play-by-play. But for me, successful season for me, playoff victory, regardless of the roster. But I know that for me, and I'm even though my own personal bias, I have my own personal bias, I can be objective. I think the GM should lay that on the table and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm looking forward to. And out of this season, I understand what cap situation we're coming in. I trust you, and I want to give you an opportunity, because remember, they said a new GM and quarterback. So this season, we're gonna evaluate all the players that we have and see who we want to keep and who we're gonna move forward. I mean, who we're not gonna move forward with, and then we're gonna give you 2027 to go in there and get your quarterback. Right? I think that's how it should go if you want it to be successful. But for me, I don't. Hey, listen, year 5, my brother. I don't have patience to give you that. Yeah. I don't have the patience for that. So I'm gonna just be real. Yeah. But if they want this to be successful, which I would hope that Mike McDaniel meet the criteria that the GM lays out for him. And then we could go forward with building a team with that regime, because we feel like we have our 2 guys. Because if not, guess what, Lou? We starting right back over next season. And that GM, now, Lou, I do want them to give that GM, which I don't think they are, because that's why they're trying to pick someone to work with Mike McDaniel. I think they should get that GM like, yo, man, we're going to give you this year, and bro, and if you don't do what you do, I'm going to get you up out of here longer, because now my cap is going to be fixed. You and Tua could get up out of here. You know, I think that's how it should be. But he got to win a playoff game, especially when he comes out and say, no, this is not a rebuild season for me. We're fixing our problems. So you saying you're willing to compete? That's how I'm gonna judge you. There's got to be a competitive team next season.
No, hey, listen, that's fair. Jess, what do you think?
For McDaniel, it has to be a playoff win. Like, there's no doubt, it has to be. There's also not really necessarily meaning for like a winning season, but for a positive change with the new GM in potentially keeping Mike McDaniel for years to come is the locker room media blurting out of everything of what happens behind the scenes, that needs to be reeled in. Like if we see the same thing next year where players are just kind of spewing random shit like around, then McDaniel's got to go for me, because I'm tired of that. I don't like all of our business out there. So McDaniel's on a fine line for me.
Yeah, it's hard to debate anything that you're saying, Jess or Tone. I just think, again, with the ramifications of the salary cap, I don't think the years of, let's go back to 2022, 2023, and you look at some of those rosters. I think the 2026 version of the Miami Dolphins looks a lot different than that, right? I don't think you have those assets at your disposal. And for me, if you weren't good enough to make that work, I don't know how you make the 2026 version of the Miami Dolphins work, right? So from that standpoint, again, I'm not here to say whether I would keep him or not. I do like kind of Tone's. For me, I would say this: if Mike McDaniel shows again another year of being able to not lose the locker room, if it looks like the guys are still buying in to his, his vision or whatever of the team, and if you still see some of these young players, because I do think you look at the roster now, outside of a couple guys, Miami has a really, really young roster. And they're probably going to bring in some more young guys. If you're telling me, let's say the Dolphins can get 9 wins next year, squeak into the playoffs. Hell, 10 wins, let's say. They squeak into the playoffs. And let's say the playoff game doesn't go our way, but it's a competitive game, right? It's a play here, play there. Dolphins ultimately lose. I don't know if I pull the trigger on Mike McDaniel. I'm kind of with Tone. I would look at the end of the season, reassess the situation. And with a lot of money coming back to us in 27, and if again, the general manager seems like he put a good draft together in 26, if Mike McDaniel, again, if everything is aligning, I don't know if I have to have a playoff win. Now, I am with you. I can't have 4 and 13. I can't have 5 and 12. But if I get a 9 and 8, and let's say squeak into the playoffs, and we don't, again, a competitive game, I think, for me at least, I think that would give Mike McDaniel a chance to come back in 27. I don't think I'm getting rid of him in that aspect, but he has to win in 26. No, there's no doubt about it. You can't be 5 and 12. You can't be 6 and 11, something like that, and survive. So I'll just say that. But it's hard to debate anything that you and Tone were saying, Jess, because listen, you survived this past year. I don't know if you give us another year of a 6-win, 7-win football team if you survive that. I don't.
Yeah.
So
and let me explain to you why that's going to be such a difficult situation for Mike McDaniel to be in, and why I do not trust him. Because for him to sneak into the playoff, guess what? Whatever quarterback he decides to go with, when we think it's going to be Quinn Ewers, would he fall for the okie doke and think that's his quarterback going forward? And will that be the wrong decision? You get what I'm saying? Because he's going to be faced with that. In 2027, we have a good quarterback class. But for him to be successful, he have to do it with the quarterback that he chose. You understand? So that's a conundrum. That's the dilemma. I'm sorry. The dilemma that he's going to be in. And me, what's one of my biggest critiques of him? I don't know if he know how to evaluate a quarterback. Remember, he didn't go evaluate Tua. He didn't go draft Tua and scout Tua. Tua was already on his roster for him, but he did go get Skylar Thompson. That was the first quarterback he chose to bring in. He did go get Quinn Ewers, Quinn Ewers don't look bad, but he needs time to develop. But do we have that luxury of saying, let's see what Quinn Ewers is, and if he's not who we think he is, do you give Mike McDaniel another opportunity to say, all right, now you go get your guy? You get him. You see how it could be so confusing? And it's in such a bad situation because the predicament that we're in, Mike McDaniel, you put us in this predicament. So now we have to blindly trust that it was not his fault. It was only Chris Greer's fault and the disgruntled players like the Jalen Ramseys of the world that they got rid of. Maybe the Jalen Phillips. You get what I'm saying? Now we have to trust that he knew what he was doing the whole time. So if it's a failed season, we have to trust that he's going to be able to go get the right quarterback. If it's not a failed season and they go to the playoffs, we got to trust that it's not a one-year deal like we had with Tua. Because I think about things, I'm proactive, and I think about it years down the line. Tua had a couple of good seasons, 2 good seasons back to back until defense caught up with him. Now do you make that next step? Everyone had to do it. Josh Allen had to do it. Patrick Mahomes had to do it. Jalen Hurts had to do it. Once defenses get a grasp of how you play and what's your weaknesses, can you beat them with your weaknesses? We have to give Mike McDaniel and Quinn Ewers or whoever he wants time to see that. That's a minimum 2 to 3 year plan. Do we trust Mike McDaniel to just say, let's guarantee him another 3 years? You get what I'm saying? You see how it's a messed up situation that I hate that we're in, but I told y'all this is the situation we're going to be faced with. No matter which road we go, it's a messed up situation. We just have to hope as fans. And I know it's not the most popular thing to say, but as a fan of this franchise, I have to hope that they finally made the right decision, because one thing I do know, we have to agree on it. If Mike McDaniel and whoever the new GM turns out to be the right 2 guys, this team and this franchise has the possibility to be unstoppable, because the guys behind you is going to back you no matter what. They're going to pay whatever they need to give to for you to make this a successful team, and that's what any coach or GM wants. It's a bunch of guys that behind you and say, listen, go do your thing. Because to let him get through all this and still support him, but you can't ask for no better support system than that. You just have to pick the right guy. And I'm sorry, based on what I've seen, I'm not willing to trust that Mike McDaniel is the right guy to do that just yet. I hope he prove me wrong from a fan standpoint, but I have to be objective and give these people the truth. I don't see it. I see a lot of good in them. And I'm willing to agree with you and meet you halfway, Lou, and say, I've seen more good than I've seen bad. But I didn't see that enough good to say I trust him 100% moving forward. Still some things that needs to be corrected and figured out. But you know what? You know who I thought of? Andy Reid. Andy Reid couldn't get over that hump. And, he had a quarterback that was real good, but he couldn't get him over that hump. But when he got Patrick Mahomes overcame in the AFC Championship games, overcame in the Super Bowls. Remember, he was failing every NFC Championship game with Donovan McNabb. Finally got to the Super Bowl, and Donovan McNabb was throwing up on the field. Andy Reid when he got that guy, so I have to be able to trust that Mike McDaniel, you got to get that guy. Because the only thing I'm going to tell you what Mike McDaniel is missing, because we overlook all the flaws. Bill Belichick ain't won nothing without Tom Brady. Nothing. Not a single thing. You have to get that guy.
Does it matter what round you get that guy in?
No. That's why Tom Brady was in the 6th round.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that. Yeah. I'm with you.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
No. That's why if Quinn Ewers panned out, that's best for the whole team, the whole franchise and its fan base. We got our guy in round 7. We outdid the Patriots. But I just can't trust that he's that guy to be able to deliver on that. And that's what my problem is. That's the dilemma that I'm faced with, that I'm like, I can't come out here and say, just like you say, what changed? I know what changed. The change is they got exactly what they want. But does that, it's like 2 things can be right at the same time, because even though there's a change to your statement, nothing has changed really, because it's still all the go along, get along guys with the collective.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that now it's a full collective and not people pushing back. So, let's see. It's such a messed up situation. I explained this before the season was up. I said we're going to be faced with this in the off season, and here we go. Black Monday already faced with the two scenarios that I said we're going to be faced with. Again, 63 of y'all in the building. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Help the channel grow, man. Help the channel grow. We be out here grinding all the time, giving y'all this content, and trying to be as objective as we can. And this is not the fluff. This is not the come over here and say everything the Miami Dolphins do is good, and if they fall, they smell like roses. No, this is not one of those channels. This channel is we want our team to success and to be successful. I'm sorry, and that's with letting them know what they do wrong. Because if you can't tell the things that you root for, or the people and team what you root for, the truth, then you don't really want what's best for them. You just hope the best thing happen, but you don't want, because listen, when something I see something that need to be approved on, you have to have the testicular fortitude to let them know, which is what I'm hoping Mike McDaniel have, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, the team didn't quit on him. The team didn't do this," but you're going to be faced with some more people in that locker room that you might not agree with. And you know what? What if that guy you pick, because we know what it is when you get the guy, if he works out, Mike McDaniel, everything is going to be peaches and cream. But if he don't work out, is it going to take you 3 to 4 years to say, no, I don't see it in this guy again, like it took Tua? You get what I'm saying? Is it going to take you too long?
Well, the thing, again, Tony, I think we could go back and forth on this all night. I do see, I've been noticing in the chat, a lot of people are trade for Burrow, trade for Lamar, get it done, this, that, and the third. And I see this comment right here by Miller, I believe his name is Miller Hendricks. And it says, "Can't believe y'all are okay with Mike staying." And I believe, and I believe, Tone, Jess, Miller, and I believe Sonny Days as well. Well, specifically Miller, he was saying earlier, it's play calling with Mike McDaniel. It's this, it's that. I think, Tone, you had a great point earlier, Tone, and when you said it, and this is what we've been trying to tell people this whole time about Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel has flaws, right? And I get it. But when I hear people say it's his play calling, I don't understand what people sometimes. I just don't understand what people are watching, and I mean that respectfully, right? Like, if y'all don't understand, and I'm not saying nobody does, I'm just saying if y'all don't understand, come over here and watch our film breakdowns on Wednesday, because we're showing you it's really not play calling. Tone, you said something earlier, and I want to get I'm just trying to paint a picture for everybody. Last night we watched the game between the Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson was down, I believe, 24-20 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was virtually on the verge of getting sacked. He split 2 defenders, rolled out, threw a bomb to Hollywood Brown to go up in the game. Was that a play call? Do you think the play call that came in was Lamar Jackson stay back there, split 2 defenders, roll out, and make a throw? Do you believe that was the play call?
No.
This is all I'm saying. Like, bro, Mike McDaniel, from a play calling standpoint, I think does and remember, Tone, it came out earlier this season. Y'all remember the report that Mike McDaniel was virtually handcuffed with some of the things he could call because Tua Tagovailoa was so limited he couldn't do certain things? Y'all remember that?
Yep.
Look at the job Mike McDaniel has been doing with someone that's handcuffed. I'm just saying, Tone, for me, when I see comments like, well, why don't you want Mike McDaniel here? And when people say it's the play calling, for me, Tone, Jeff, I disagree with that. You want him out for decision making. You want him out because maybe he was earlier in his career, he was more of the pat people on the ass. And, again, cool. I can listen to those debates. Please, for me, At least for me, I don't want to hear that Mike McDaniel can't coach, because what it sounds like to me, Tone and Jess, it's the same things we did with Brian Flores. It was Brian Flores couldn't coach. No, Brian Flores could coach. You just didn't like him because of certain things you did. Mike McDaniel is the same thing. You don't have to. I'm not saying you have to like Mike McDaniel, but don't lie on the man neither. Play calling is not one of Mike McDaniel's issues. I'm sorry. It just ain't.
Miller Hendricks. He just, you know that play that he just talked about? He say, okay, here's a play calling issue that's easy to point out. Quinn been a starter for 3 weeks, and he threw a pick on a bootleg. He said Tory, but I'm guessing he mean he left, but to his left. Why he rolling out left? Mike can't flip the play for Quinn. So you do know on that play that Lamar split 2 defenders. He did a bootleg to his left.
He went to the left.
I don't know how much football that you work, but a lot of the. Go ahead, Lou.
No, I'm sorry, Tone. I just want to illustrate your point even more. Remember last week against the Buccaneers? Quinn Ewers on the very first play of the game, bootleg to his left, hit Greg Dulcich for like 17 yards.
Yes.
On a play out to his left. Bro, again, the people are just reaching, bro. Y'all reaching. Yeah. It's okay to just say you don't want Mike McDaniel here. Just say that. But to lie, bro. Like, bro, don't lie. You ain't got to lie to kick it, bro. You ain't got to lie to say you want Mike McDaniel to be fired. It's okay to say that. But nah, bro, I'm just tired of these debates, Tone. Oh, he can't coach now. It's a stop. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think, you have to pay attention. Every quarterback bootleg to the left. Every single quarterback. When you see Patrick Mahomes throwing off platform, he bootleg to the left. When you see Josh Allen doing it, he's bootleg to the left. You're gonna call the play that he hit Waddle down the sideline was a bootleg to his right. Y'all do know we have seen Tua bootleg to his right before as well, too. We're gonna ignore those bootlegs. Don't worry, it's on Wednesday, the film breakdown. We have a bunch of plays like that. So I don't understand why do y'all not watch football? Every quarterback bootlegs to his left. Every single quarterback. There's not one quarterback in the league that don't bootleg to their left. And the same could go for bootlegging to the right. But please, y'all have to pay more attention. It makes no sense. For the most part, when a coach calls bootleg, they do it to their quarterback's opposite hand because that's how you fool the defense. Fake the pitch to that, roll them out to the wrong side, and then you get them the touchdown. The same thing with that play when he missed DeAndre Hopkins on the sideline. That was another bootleg to Lamar Jackson's left. So, but take that for what you will. Some people just gonna feel how they feel. But it was one more thing I was going to say. Oh, no. It was about the friends. I already covered that out. About the people that they bringing in being his friends. And we have to see if he's gonna be able to, make those tough decisions. Because I heard a lot of people say it seemed like he's learning because he bench Tua. I think that was an easy decision to make. Season was already done with. After we lost that game, we was out of playoff contention. You see what he have. What would have been the better decision if he would did that in the beginning of the season while he was doing bad, or he would have made that tough decision to make Tua play on that 5th-year option, as opposed to giving him an extension with the track record that he had. Those are going to be the type of decision that allows me to figure out whether or not he's learned from being too most likely worrying about what's best for the player as opposed to what's best for the franchise. See, when it comes to business, that's why I say it's a saying. A lot of people use it and abuse it, but it's a saying. It's never personal, just business. When you're dealing with business, he said it this year, and we're going to hold him to it. when it comes to the Miami Dolphins, I have to be a robot, which means take your feelings out. That's what he essentially was saying. So let's see. You and your little friends and the people that you believe in. Is a lot of people. The 49ers believed in Trey Lance, still got rid of him. You understand? Kansas City believed in Alex Smith, still got rid of him. The Philadelphia Eagles believed in Carson Wentz, still got rid of him. I'm just saying. The Patriots believe in Drew Bledsoe, still got rid of him. Now, are you going to be able to make those tough decisions? We'll see. That's still yet to be determined. But yeah, man, that's my take on it. That's, I guess, our this Mike McDaniel picking his GM. This could either be good for us or it could backfire. It could backfire, and I want to know the new GM how much of control or power they're going to give him. Are they going to have full autonomy to do what they want? Will he have the autonomy that now that I'm in the building, I don't want. Can he move off of Mike McDaniel after next season, or is this you going to make it work with Mike McDaniel or all or nothing? Lou, I got one last question, and just you too. Do y'all think they're really looking for a GM, or do y'all think they're just going through the due diligence and they're going to end up keeping Champ Kelly? Because I heard Ian saying it earlier in the space, and I was like, you know what? That's a real interesting question right there and thought process. Do y'all think Champ Kelly? They think they're gonna ride it? Because if they do, let me tell you something. If they do, then I think it's a 1-year thing. I'm gonna tell you that right now. If they end up going forward with Champ Kelly, then it's the 1-year thing. I'm like, okay, they're gonna let Mike McDaniel and Champ Kelly do this right here. And if they don't be successful, get rid of all three of them: Champ Kelly, Mike McDaniel, and Tua at the same time, and then bring up a new GM. Or do y'all think they're really out there looking for a GM candidate?
Can I go on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I think the initial plan was to potentially keep Champ Kelly for another year. I think they are actually actively searching for a GM, only because I think that there might have been a possibility that Champ Kelly said something about getting rid of McDaniel and Tua earlier, and they don't like it. So now they're actively searching. I think that initial was, let's keep Champ Kelly another year. He disagreed with the direction that the team is going or that the organization is going. So now, yeah, they are actively searching. That's my take on it.
Lou?
I'm with you. I would say if Champ Kelly does come back, I think it's a one and done for both Champ Kelly and Mike McDaniel. And to be honest, again, I'm trying to be fair, right? I think if it was me, that would be my approach. I think from a cap standpoint, I think we all know what kind of the 2026 season is going to look like. That's why I kind of posed the question to Tone and Jess, to you guys earlier, about what does a successful season have to look like? Because I don't think the 2026 version of Miami is going to be a good one, right? If it was me, Tone, Jess, to move forward, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm bringing Champ Kelly back, and it's to Tone's point and kind of to what Ian was mentioning earlier. It would be a one and done. If I'm going to give you guys both 26. If you guys fail, when 27 hits and I'm almost close to $100 million worth of salary cap, Mike McDaniel, you're gone. Champ Kelly, you're gone. And that's when I'm pulling the trigger on bringing a new head coach, new general manager, and I am resetting this franchise from the Tua Tagovailoa, Mike McDaniel regime of just those kind of guys being here. So again, Tone, I think to end the show, this was a very good question. If it was me and I try to defend Mike McDaniel, I listen, I like him. But I do think if I was pulling the trigger, Champ is coming back, Mike McDaniel's coming back, and you guys got 1 year to prove it. If you prove me wrong, you can stay. If you prove me right and how I like my assessment of the 2026 season is going to go, both of you guys would be over here and everybody would get what they want. And we would start off fresh with a lot of money, new general manager, and new head coach. I think that really should be the approach Miami should take.
Yep, exactly. And that's what I said at the beginning of this whole fiasco, and that's still my stance on it. Give them 1 year. Let's clean everything up. Do not let the new GM or head coach come in and have to deal with all this craziness. Don't start them on at the first before you step in the building. You're already at a disadvantage. You understand? You know. I don't like that for the new GM, and that is going to limit the type of GM that's going to come in here. It is. It is what it is. So, but yeah, I think possibly that's the direction they should go in. Not possibly, but that's actually the direction that they should go in. And if they don't, then so be it. It is the Miami Dolphins. All we have to do is hope that the decision that they're making will be the right one. But based on history, they have to show us, man. You have to have a wait and see approach, and don't be fooled by the food goals. I see a lot of people in the chat saying no, it's smoke and mirrors. So I'm glad that our chat are not being bamboozled and hoodwinked and swindled. So they got to show us if this is real or not. I'm still waiting to see what benefit and what role Troy Aikman has in all this, because is this what we brought him in to bring the obvious? What really? Like everyone that you brought in that you recommended had some kind of tie with Mike McDaniel. We need a Troy Aikman for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, that could be a whole nother rant, but that's good. Listen, man, still 58 of y'all in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help the channel grow. We are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock. If y'all like what y'all heard today, shout out to y'all for rocking with us. Man, it's the off season, so you know it's gonna get a little crazy. Y'all live around for it. But Jess, Lou, y'all got anything before we get up out of here?
No, I'm good.
I just want to say, so the one night that I don't go to a Sixers game tonight, Jalen Phillips rang the bell.
Yo, first of all, we don't want to hear nothing about the Sixers or Jalen.
Your favorite person.
Who? Facts. Oh, Game Boy 305. I started. I'm on episode 2.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
on episode 2.
go.
So welcome to Derry. So I have started, my brother. I'm not gonna say I'll be done by Wednesday because I got a lot of stuff to do, but I'm for sure we'll be done with that by this week. So far, the only thing that's intriguing me is the general, that his little whole situation. It's kind of crazy what they got going on with him. But yeah. But I started at Game Boy 305. But yeah. So since we don't have nothing else, listen, y'all be safe. See y'all next week. Lou, you know what to do. Get us up out of here.
And this has been the Black Monday episode. Unfortunately for us, the season is over, but the grind doesn't stop. Tony has been saying it all night. I'm going to echo those sentiments. We'll be here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday moving forward, giving you guys this great content. For my brother Tone, for Jess, for myself, for the producer in the back, you know what it is. We'll see y'all Wednesday. The revolver tonight goes to the tutor himself, Mike McDaniel.
Toot!
Yeah.